Hi, I'll stop whispering. Yes, I'm Sophie Tanner, and I seem to have become a bit of an ambassador for self-love, which is a massive privilege because self-love is a hugely wide topic, which Alice has made me realise even more with her events, and there's so many different areas to cover, and I just feel very grateful to be part of that conversation after the crazy thing I did. I guess I've always been I've been lucky enough to have relatively positive mental health, and I've never really suffered with depression. I've been quite happy-go-lucky. I've had quite a lot of shit happen to me, but I've kind of bounced back. However, when I turned 30, I had probably the biggest crash that I've ever experienced, so for me it was quite alien. And to cut a long sob story short, it was basically the boyfriend I lived with at the time dumped me, and then I found out he'd been cheating on me with our mutual friend. I'd spent a lot of my life single, and I'd had a few very strong relationships, so with him I think probably I was in love the most. But the thing is, with me, I don't know about you, but I tend to when I'm in a relationship, I put a lot of myself into my partner, so I'll often put their needs before my own, their happiness before myself. So when they disappear, it's quite disorientating because suddenly you think, what do I actually want? And you make all these decisions, big and small, on your own. What's more, when you're cheated on, which for me this was the third time it happened in 3 strong relationships, you just can't help blaming yourself. You can't help feeling inadequate. You can't help comparing yourself to the new person and dwelling on your imperfections. You can't help feeling that you're just not enough, So it's kind of like a double whammy. You lose someone you love and you also lose yourself. And there's just a massive hole. So I really struggled. I had a real down few months. And the problem with sort of feeling lonely is that, it's an emotional response to feeling unloved, and nothing you can do, like casual sex, booze, partying, like surround yourself with people, it doesn't necessarily fill that hole. It doesn't make you feel loved. And that's kind of something that has to come from yourself. So I was very, very lucky that after maybe like 6 months, I woke up one morning and I just recovered from a bout of flu. And I remember just this feeling of A, being grateful for having my health back, but B, just thinking I can feel myself returning. I can feel my natural sense of optimism returning. And for me, that was just such a relief. The sun was streaming through the window and I felt so happy. I thought, I am enough. I love my life. I love my friends, the city I live in, my job. There's nothing, I haven't lost anything. And it's strange how important that felt as a revelation, to be happy with myself, to be in control of my own happiness. And so part of me then was like, surely there's a way to celebrate this feeling. It's strange, it's like this feeling of self-love, there doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it. Society is very much geared around finding someone else to make you happy. Culture is obsessed with romantic love. Literally every song, film, book is about romantic love. And you're not happy until you find it. So I just thought, okay, maybe it's time to redress the balance a little bit. Maybe it's time that self-love plays as big a role as romantic love. And what better way to celebrate that love than with a wedding? I thought, I wonder if it's possible to marry yourself. And in order to explore that, I did it through writing, because at the time I was trying to write a really dark novel. And then it filled me with joy to think about writing about a girl who marries herself. So I did a bit of research, contacted Brighton-based ceremonies office. Is it possible to marry yourself? And the answer was a resounding no. Marriage is the union of 2 people to the exclusion of everybody else. We cannot help you. I don't really like being told no, so I went ahead and I just wrote this book. And then I was nearing the end, and at a blogger conference, I saw this literary Dragon's Den. So I went in, because I hadn't even finished, and I pitched the idea, and the agent was like, I love this is amazing. So we had a big meeting in London, and I sent her everything I'd written, and it was amazing to have someone, back me. But her one sticking point was, yeah, but at the end of the book, the girl can't actually marry herself, because that's not really the rom-com narrative. And I was like, that's the whole point. I want a different narrative. I want a different genre. So it kind of got me so confused that she was so supportive, yet at the same time didn't want the end to be how I wanted it. So I thought, in solidarity to the character that I've grown so fond of, and to kind of test the waters and see if there was an appetite for such a grand gesture, I decided I would marry myself. So in 2015, in mid-May, as part of Brighton Fringe Festival, I had a cultural ceremony of self-love, and I dressed up in a wedding gown, and all my friends were bridesmaids. My friend dressed up as the Pope. My dad gave me away to myself. I went through my vows, and having, committing to love yourself in front of all your loved ones and a few passers-by, it's actually very empowering, and everyone said that they really, really enjoyed it. And after that, there's quite a long story, but I won't go into it, but basically, there was an appetite for it. There was a lot of media interest. I've done so many interviews. It's strange that to so publicly love yourself, there's actually been a lot of difficulty. It's been very hard. I've had loads of trolls, loads of people calling me a narcissist. But it's strange because it's nothing to do with your reflection, it's to do with your sense of self-worth. So anyway, after 2 years, there's been loads of articles. Apparently sologamy is a trend now, because a few people are doing it around the world. My agent, I wrote the book, I finished it, where the girl did marry herself in the end. And after loads of publishers going, what the hell, how are we going to sell that? There's no market for that. Through all the kind of media attention, I guess, because I was on This Morning and stuff like that. Last summer, a publisher approached me and my agent and said, I think we made a mistake turning it away. Actually, we think it is the time to talk about self-love. So the past 9 months I've spent sort of reworking the book based on my experience, and it's out next January. And I feel from here it's almost like it's the beginning of the journey, because I just think that, now it's kind of strengthened my conviction that I think it's very important to be an ambassador for self-love. And you shouldn't waste your life searching for the one when you are the one. And you should stop searching for happily ever after and be living in your happily ever now.